Hello students, welcome to my channel iSmile Academy. Today we'll be doing some problems based on atoms. The first question: if in nature there may not be an element for which the principal quantum number is less than 4, then the possible number of elements will be. So these are four options given to us. Okay, so what is given is, we suppose we only have elements in nature for which the value of principal quantum number is not greater than 4. It is only up to 4. So see, in the first shell, this is the I've drawn some four shells here. So you can see this is the first shell. So in the first shell, only 2 electrons can exist in the first shell. It is one s2 orbital. In the second shell, this is the second shell, only 2 orbitals s and p. So s, only 2 elements can be there, 2 electrons can be there. In p, 6 electrons. This is the third shell. Okay, this is the third shell. So in third shell we have spd, so 2 plus 6, 2, 6 and 10. Then the final one, the fourth shell, this is the fourth shell. So in this shell we have sp, d, f, all the orbitals are there. So here these are the total number of electrons which can be there. Okay, now we add up them. This 2 is in the first shell, 8 in the second, 8 in the third, and 32 in the fourth. So a maximum is 60. So maximum number of elements are 60. Okay, next we come to the second question. In the Bohr's hydrogen atom model, the radius of stationary orbit is directly proportional to. So there are four options: 1 upon n raised to minus 2, and n square, where n is the principal quantum number. So here we can see the radius of the orbit. Okay, we can have many number of orbits. So if we see the expression for radius of orbit, what we have is n square h square upon 4 pi square m e square into 1 upon z. Okay, so what we are concerned is, we have to see in terms of a principal quantum number. So this is what we have, you can see here. Okay, this is the required expression. So r, we can say r is proportional to n square. So this is the answer. Okay, so it is natural, more the number of electrons, larger is the radius. Okay, so this is the actual answer. Next we come to question number 3. In the nth orbit, the energy of an electron is En equal to minus 13.6 divided by n square electron volt for hydrogen atom. The energy required to take the electron from first orbit to second orbit will be. So these are some of the options given to us. Now see in this diagram what we are given. We have various options in this case. So here you can see the first this is the first orbit, second, and we can have many other orbits. Here also we can have one more orbit. Okay, so according to the given equation, En equal to minus 13.6 upon n square. For the first case, minus 13.6 divided by this, because this is the first orbit, so we have 13.6 upon 1 square, which is minus 13.6. For the second orbit, we have minus 13.6 divided by 2 square, so which is minus 13.6 divided by 4, so we get minus 3.4. Okay, so how much energy is required? So what is the difference between them? We have to take the electron to the second orbit. This is the second. We have to take this electron from this orbit to the second orbit. So the energy of second minus the second energy of the first. So energy of the second is minus 3.4 minus of minus 13.6. So if we calculate, we get 10.2. This is positive 10.2 electrons. So this is the answer. Okay, we require plus 10.2 electron volt. Okay. Next we come to question number 4. The Lyman series of hydrogen spectrum lies in the region. So 4 regions are given: infrared, visible, ultraviolet, or X-rays. So students, you can see the table here. These are some of the spectral lines which are given for hydrogen atom. For Lyman is the first one. For Lyman series, N1 is 1, N2 can be 2, 3, 4, 5 up to infinity. For Balmer series, N1 is 2, N2 can be 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on. For Paschen series, N1 is 3, and then N2 can be any other 1, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to infinity. Then bracket, then fund. So for bracket, N1 is 4, for fund N1 is 5. So here the spectrum region, you can note down this. Okay, here Lyman is given. Maybe in the exam it may come Passion or Bracket or Fund series. So here what we see, for Lyman series, the spectrum lies in ultraviolet region. So this is the answer. The spectrum lies in ultraviolet. For Balmer series, it is in visible region. Okay, so for our case, the answer is ultraviolet. Okay. Next we come to question number 5. The size of an atom is of the order of 10 is to minus 8 meter, 10 is to minus 10, 10 is to minus 12, 10 is to minus 14 meters. So here you can see, students, this is the simple structure of an atom. Here we have the nucleus. The red portion is the nucleus, and the yellow one which is surrounding it is the atom, the entire atom. Okay, so the size of the nucleus is 10 is to minus 15 meter. Okay, nucleus, and size of the atom is around 10 raised to minus 10. Okay, we can say it is 1 angstrom unit. Okay, and this is 1 Fermi. 10 raised to minus 15 is 1 Fermi. Although the size of the nucleus is not asked, but we must know this. Okay, so the size of the atom which is given is 10 raised to minus 10, or we can say 1 angstrom unit is the size of the atom. Next we come to question number 6. The energy levels of hydrogen spectrum are shown in the figure. So this is the figure which we are given. There are some transitions A, B, C, D and E. Transition A, B and C respectively represents. So what does this transition? This is the transition from infinity to level 1, which is A. Then orbit 5 to 2. Then 5 to 3. This we want to know what does this 3 represent. Okay, this 3 transitions, what do they represent? So I will check the first member of Lyman series. It is not the first member of Lyman series, because first member is from 2 to 1, not infinity to 1. Okay, so this is the first option. So we just because the first itself is wrong, so A is not the correct one. Number 2, ionization potential of hydrogen. Okay, then second spectral line of Balmer series. But see, for second spectral line of Balmer series, okay, n is 2, of course, but n1 is 2. But what about n2? N2 should be 4, but here n2 is 5. So even this is incorrect. Next we come to C. Number in C is A, series limit of Lyman series. So this one is the series limit of Lyman series. Of course it is series limit, because we cannot have any other series beyond that. Okay, then third spectral line of Balmer series. Okay, so here for Balmer series we know n2 is n1 is 2. Okay, so when n2 is 3, this is 1. When n2 is 4, 2. When n2 is 5, it is 3. So of course it represents the correct answer. And C, C, second spectral line of Passion. So Passion series has n1 equal to 3. Okay, and when n2 is 4, it represents the first spectral line. When n2 is 5, it represents the second spectral line. So here in this case, this is correct. Even the B is correct and C is also correct. So out of all the options above, C is correct. Okay, so this is the correct option. C is the correct answer. Rest all are incorrect. Next we come to question number 7. The Rutherford alpha particle experiment shows that most of the alpha particles pass through almost unscattered, while some are scattered through large angles. What information does it give about the structure of the atoms? So this is the diagram of alpha scattering. We can see here most of the particles, alpha particles, they are positively charged, so they almost cross the atom, and very few they are deviated. Okay, so what do we conclude is from this is atom is hollow. Okay, if atom had been hollow, all the particles would have been sent back like this one. Okay, they would have stuck, and they were almost all the particle would have been sent back by the nucleus, by the atom. Okay, but it is seen that 99% of atom is hollow. The whole mass of the atom is concentrated in a small center called as nucleus. This is also true. Okay, so this is one of the result of conclusion of the Rutherford's alpha particle experiment, that the entire mass of the atom is concentrated at a particular point, which is called the nucleus, and nucleus is positively charged, because one of the striking feature of that experiment was that Rutherford never expected that the alpha particles would actually travel back by 180 degree. Okay, this was never expected. Okay, so why this occurred? Because it we can assume that there is a very large positive charge which just deflects this gold atom back. So all the above are correct. Okay, all these are the conclusions of Rutherford's experiment. Next we come to question number 8. Which of the following is true? Lyman series is a continuous spectrum. Paschen series is a line spectrum in the infrared. Balmer series is a line spectrum in ultraviolet. Number 4, the spectral series formula can be derived from the Rutherford model of the hydrogen atom. So here what we see is the first option, Lyman series is a continuous spectrum. This is incorrect because Lyman series is actually a line spectrum. Okay, Lyman series is a line spectrum, so this option is incorrect. Number 2, Paschen series is a line spectrum. It is a line spectrum in the infrared. You can see from this diagram. Okay, this one. Okay, so this option is correct. Next, Balmer series is a line spectrum in the ultraviolet, but Balmer series is a line spectrum, but it is in the visible region, so this is incorrect. Now number 4, the spectral series formula can be derived from Rutherford model of hydrogen. It cannot be derived from that. It was derived from the Bohr's postulate formula. Okay, from Bohr's postulate we can derive that formula, not from Rutherford's model. So option B is correct. Rest all are incorrect. Next we come to question number 9. The energy required to knock out the electron in the third orbit of a hydrogen atom is equal to. So these are the 4 options. Now we must know this is the formula for the energy of electron in any of the orbit. Okay, this is proportional to 1 upon n square. For first orbit we have n equal to 1. For second orbit we have n equal to 2. For third orbit we have n equal to 3. For 4 we have n equal to 4. So for the first case, if n is equal to 1, this is the energy of the electron, minus 13.6. For the second orbit, so n is 2, so it becomes 2 square means 4. So the energy is minus 13.6 divided by 4. For the third orbit, the energy is minus 13.6 divided by 9. Now this is the energy of the electron, so we must supply energy which is equivalent to this okay, but in the positive sense. This is minus, so we must apply a positive energy. So the energy required to knock it down is plus 13.6 divided by 9. Okay, so this is the answer. This much energy must be supplied, plus 13.6 divided by 9 electron volt. Next we have question number 10. In a beryllium atom, if A0 be the radius of the first orbit, then the radius of the second orbit will be in general. So we have this relation, radius is proportional to the square of the principal quantum number, that is n square. So Rn is proportional to n square. Okay. But what we are given is R1, the radius of the first orbit is A0. Okay, so if we combine these two relations, what we get is, we get this one. This is what we have. Okay, this is what we get. Now for R2, what we will have for R2, if we compare this, R2 is A0 n square. Okay, where of course n will be 2, so R2 is equal to A0 4, but in our answer 4 is not mentioned, so this is the answer, C. So the radius of the second orbit in general will be n square A0 or A0 n square. That's all for today. So students, revise it properly. All the best. Thanks for watching.